In this video, we're going to show you, if you're a company, how you can create a work request. Very simple process. It does involve some steps, though, so we'll walk you through that and make it very simple. First off, go to our website, automateamerica.com, labeled right there. Next thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and log into your business profile. So go over here to click Login, and make sure you enter in your login credentials and how you log in. Very simple. We set this up earlier, so we'll go ahead and log in using our account, and then go ahead and click Login. Once you get that in, it'll cycle through and it'll take you right to your dashboard. Your dashboard is kind of your home where you can see kind of everything that's going on. You can see any ongoing work you have, any scheduled work you have coming up, pending offers. These are professionals that have applied to your work and that you've shortlisted and offered, any applications you received to your work, any open work that you have, shortlisted professionals, so on, and you can see so forth. Now, very simply, you see over here on the right-hand side of your profile, you've got Search Professionals. This is where you can search any professionals that are located on the Automate America platform, and then you have Create Work, and this is where we're going to go ahead and create our work request. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that, and it'll bring up a dialog box. So let's go ahead and start. We have some pre-selected for you, most of these fields. We have some pre-selected, some top choices here, but you certainly don't have to use these. If you have something that's maybe a little more unique or a little different, feel free to use whatever you like. But if you see something on here that works for you, then go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and go with a robot programmer, and the applications we're going to have. Let's just say spot welding, arc welding. Let's see, we'll do some laser welding, and just for fun, some sealer and adhesive. Country is important, so make sure you are in the United States if that is where the job is located. The zip code, we're going to go ahead and put in Greenville, just for fun. Keywords, this is any keywords that you think would help assist with the search process. So we'll just go ahead and put robot, welding. And let's just say, I know it's going to be FANUC, so I'm going to go ahead and put FANUC robots in here as well. Now, this is going to be a contract position, so excuse me, we'll go ahead and say contract. And then under work description, here's where you're going to want to be as descriptive as you can about what work it is you're actually looking to get done. So I'm going to say seeking a robot programmer with FANUC experience to perform welding and sealer and adhesive applications. And then if you want to get into a little deeper scope of work, you certainly can. Project includes 4 weeks of welding and 4 weeks of sealer and adhesive, along with additional time for production support. And like I said, be as descriptive as you can with this. This gives any professional who looks at that a solid idea of what it is you are looking for. If you are requiring U.S. residents, please go ahead and check that yes. We'll go ahead and do so. And the other thing you want to do is you want to find an image. Up here you click to upload an image, and we'll just go and find one that we've used before. This is just one that we can use. Make sure kind of the image that you use is representative of the work that you need done. So, for example, if you are looking for a FANUC robot programmer, as we are here, then you probably want to find a FANUC picture of some sort, or maybe a FANUC robot welding photo or something like that. Try not to use logos or anything like that, as it can be a little confusing in terms of what you may or may not be looking for. So we're going to go ahead and just use the R2000IB photo we have here, and then we'll go ahead and let it cycle through and upload. And there you have it, and that'll be how it will display. So, and you can see here the recommended dimensions for that to make it. It says workable logo, but make sure it represents kind of what it is you're looking for. Again, it's just a way to help help contractors who are looking for your work understand exactly what it is you're looking for. So we filled in all the applicable fields, so we're going to go ahead and hit save. And then this will populate the work request. As you can see up here, it says your work has been created successfully. And there we have it. This will take you to the main dashboard for the particular work request. And there are several fields that you're going to want to fill in. So we're going to go step by step and talk about those. Try not to be as in depth because they're pretty self-explanatory. But we'll start here with programming skills. And this is basically what it is, what kind of equipment the contractor will be working with. So for example, if it's a PLC programmer, what kind of PLC program are they working with? Is it Allen Bradley? Is it Siemens? What kind of robot in this instance are you working with? Obviously, it's going to be FANUC. So we'll go ahead and click FANUC because that's on the side. And then it takes us to a model and controller. So let's just say they're going to use the R30IA, possibly the R30IB, and Spot Tool, as well as Arc Tool. That way they understand these are the programming skills that the professionals need to understand whenever they're applying. So we'll go ahead and click Save for that, and that'll pop that up right here. Now, skilled trades, this is in any skilled trades that you think might be applicable, such as if you're looking for someone who has experience maybe with weld inspection, that could be a good one. Maybe they've got manual welding experience as well. Again, these aren't necessarily primary things, but they're good things for a contractor to understand whenever they're looking at your work request. So maybe some spot welding experience as well, since this is a welding job. So and then you can enter in anything you'd like up here. If it's not listed here on the side, if you've got a separate requirement that maybe not here that you're looking for, feel free to go ahead and put that in the work request there. So we'll go ahead and hit save, and you can see that pops up right here. Now, any software licenses that may be required, maybe you need them to have RoboGuide. We'll go ahead and just put that in there and say that it's good to have. If you don't have any, it's okay to leave it blank, but we'll go ahead and fill it just so you see what it looks like. So you can see here that it's RoboGuide. It's a different color because we have it good to have and not mandatory. Now, any security requirements you may have. If you require a drug test or a background check, it's good to go ahead and put that on there. So let's say you require a drug test and the recency is 30 days. So a potential programmer has to have a drug test that is at least 30 days in recency. We'll say no to the background check. That's not required, but a drug test is. We'll go ahead and click save, and you can see that pop up as well. Any project milestones that you might have, if you're doing this as a project for another company, maybe you have an initial power on date, a teardown date, then you power on a business and a buy-off date. Feel free to go ahead and enter that here in the project milestones. We'll go ahead and leave it blank. Safety passes and access, if you require any particular safety passes or if they have to have any particular training, we'll just say they have to have OSHA 10 and just say that is mandatory so that they know that, and then that'll show up here as mandatory. Now, any tools, machines, and equipment competencies that you require, it's always good to have, obviously you want them to have a computer, so that we'll go ahead and put that in there as mandatory. Maybe you want them to have basic electrical tools, make that mandatory. Basic hand tools, make that mandatory. And then maybe a lockout tagout kit, make that mandatory as well. Then there's others here if you want to add, if there's other tools or machines that you're requiring the contractor to have, make sure you put that in this location as well. So we'll go ahead and click save, and you can see that pop up there. And then there's interview questions. Now this is kind of an important part of the profile, and you have to kind of understand what it means. Basically, these are going to be yes or no questions, and everyone who applies to your work request is required to answer them, and they must answer yes to all of them in order to be considered to apply. So, for example, let's just say, since we know this is a FANUC robot position, you might want to ask is, do you have a FANUC spot tool experience? Well, we already got that kind of preloaded. So obviously, if they click yes, that's good. If they click no, then you may or may not want them to apply. Let's see. Do you have manual welding experience? And then also another one that's always good to ask is if you are looking for perhaps a U.S. citizen to apply or someone who's authorized to work. Are you authorized to work in the United States? Again, these are not mandatory. We typically try to make sure there's at least 3 questions on here for a potential contractor to answer, and we can certainly help you with that process. But you can see they populate right down there. So the next big thing is going to be the key information, pay rates and expenses, and those are all located on the right-hand side of the work request. So we'll start with the key information. And this is also pretty self-explanatory. When does your job start? So let's say it does start on the 16th, and this is going to end sometime. Let's just say we'll just say it ends on November 4th. You're looking for one person. You can put in as many as you're looking for. The shift, this may be a day, afternoon, night, or variable shift. Let's just say it's a variable shift because it could be nights, it could be days, kind of depending on what your needs are. How many hours a day are you planning the contractor to work? Let's just say you're planning on 10 hours a day and you want them to work 6 days a week. Now, obviously, this can change. This is not necessarily locked in stone because, again, it's all based on whatever your project needs or requirements are. So we'll go ahead and save that, and you'll see that all populates right here. Now, the next thing is going to be pay rates. This is where kind of an advantage of our platform. This is where we allow you to set the rates that you're willing to pay. I mean, we'll certainly we'll certainly help you with that if you're looking for additional information. But basically, the whole point of the process and of the platform here is that you as a company are able to set the rates that you're willing to pay. So first off, you want to make sure that you're showing the pay rate on the profile if you so choose, and what your hourly payment terms. This is going to be kind of the payment terms that you are going to pay once you get invoiced. So company standard is pretty well net 60. Although we do have some that are net 30 or net 45 and as high as net 90. So just make sure you know what your net payment terms are so that whenever we invoice you for the work, you know what the net terms are whenever you get paid. Now here, you'll be able to determine what your base rate per hour is. And you can set this at whatever you like. Again, it's entirely up to you. So this is a robot programmer. So we'll just say it's $85 an hour to start. Overtime, OT rate, let's just say it's going to be $92 an hour. And then the double time rate, which is basically holidays and Sundays, is going to be $105. And then if you have travel time, if you're allowing for travel time, go ahead and set the rate here. We'll set it at $50 an hour. We'll allow one trip per month, and how many hours per round trip? We'll just say 8. And again, these are all determined based on you. It's kind of whatever you choose. And then make sure that if you want to go ahead and say the rates may vary, then go ahead and click that, and I'll show you where that shows up. So make sure all these are filled out properly, and go ahead and hit save. And you can see it all populate right here. And then this little proviso right here, rates may vary based on your experience and customer requirements. That way, it kind of gives a little added flexibility. So the next thing on the work request is going to be expenses, and this is going to where you want to determine, are you going to be paying expenses? Let's just say for the sake of argument here that yes, you are. So daily per diem you're going to pay is $50. Receipts are not required for that. So the next things are going to be hotel allowance, rental car allowance, airfare allowance, and the like. So if you are allowing expenses to be paid to bring in a contractor from outside your area, then you'll want to go ahead and dictate how much hotel you're going to pay. Now, obviously, you want to be mindful of the market that you're in. So you don't want to set a hotel allowance at $60 a day if you're in California, because finding a hotel in California for $60 a day is next to impossible. So you want to be kind of reasonable, but also with the understanding that receipts are going to be required, and you will only be paying what the receipts are up to whatever the amount is you set. So let's just say we'll set this at $110. That's usually a pretty general rate. It can kind of fluctuate depending on where you're at, and always make sure the receipts are required. If you don't require them, that's fine. If you're going to be supplying the hotel, you can also click that as well. Rental car, so if you're going to have a contractor who's going to be able to come in, let's just say the rental car rate you'll allow up to is $65, but the receipt is required. Airfare, to fly them out there, maybe to fly them on their trip or a trip home, whatever the case may be. If you're allowing that, let's just say that. And we'll just say $700 and receipts are required. Now, again, remember, you're not going to be invoiced any more than what you're allotting here, regardless of what the receipt is. So, so long as you know what these limits are, then you're in good shape. Go ahead and hit save. And then there you have it. You can also allow for mileage reimbursement if it's a job closer to your location. That's maybe you're looking for a professional that's within 50 miles, and then in that case you wouldn't have rental car. Instead, you would have mileage reimbursement per mile. So that's just a difference that you might have there. So go ahead and look through here. You can already see that the site has populated some recommended professionals for you, which is great. You're welcome to look at those at your leisure. Or you can go ahead and just follow through with the process of your work request. So now that you have all this done, go ahead and look through it one last time. Make sure you've got everything on here. You can add anything you need. All these dialog boxes have this little pencil right next to it. That's where you go to, and you can go through and you can edit and change anything that you might need to change. You'll be able to do this throughout at any point in time on your work request, even after it's been posted. So don't worry about it if you need to make a change. That's certainly not a problem. So that's basically the long and short of how you can do a work request. It seems like a long process, but really it's not. It's very simple, and the process is aimed at being able to help you set the rates and for you to dictate, what it is specifically you're looking for, how long you're looking for it, and what exactly it is you need. So after you've done that, then you come up here to the very top on the right-hand side. It says Send for Approval. What this will do is this will send the work request to our administration side for us to look over. We may call you if we have any additional questions, but it will then allow us to approve that work request and then get it out onto various social media and make that public for all of our contractors to see. So once you're good, go ahead and send for approval. And then it'll go to our admin side, and then we will take it from there. But that's basically how a work request works. Again, very simple process, not time-consuming at all. Just make sure you have all your information ready, your scope of work, and more specifically, kind of your pay rates and expenses that you have in mind as well. So again, if you have any questions at any time, make sure to email us at info@automateamerica.com.